Hello Internet, I am Ratu and I am your hot mess reader from Malaysia. So this is my first time being on YouTube, so I will do the new Booktuber tag, because why not? First question, why do you start this channel? As the next booktuber, or like any other booktuber, I just want to share my love for reading, or as much love I can give to reading. I will cover bits of books, manga, and webtoon. Maybe if I get a chance, some light novel reading, because I have very few at the back, pretty much focus on books, and maybe webtoons as well. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Honestly, apart from my identity and heritage that can give some kind of twist, or y'all can exoticize me. No, don't. Not much really. We don't really differ that much, I don't think. In terms, I do have some, I wouldn't say a niche taste, but if y'all love your bad boys, no. I want more himbo representation. Yes, advocating for that. Third, what are you most excited about this new channel? Hopefully by using this platform I can get my TBR done, because I have commitment problem in finishing a series. That's my bad habit. Also along the way, if I'm lucky, I'll would love to collab with local personalities. So I would love to get discussions or learn what kind of books they like to read, and maybe judge along the way, in a safe space. 4, why do you love reading? Because the first moment when Quran was revealed by Allah to Muhammad, peace be upon him, the first word and sentence decree was to read. Iqra. So what's holding you back from reading? On a side note, cliche as it sounds, reading is the bridge of knowledge. Otherwise, it's the bridge of escapism to Terabithia, Narnia, Hogwarts, or the Hunger Games. Well, maybe not that, but real life stuff. 5, what book or series you got into reading? Okay, this may be a long story. From what actually made me consistently read throughout the years. As a child, I think the one that really kickstart my reading is from Hans Christian Andersen children's storybooks. My mom bought a simplified version or some sorts, and at the time I was like, that moment when I want to read the book after watching the movie, that kind of person that wants to read the original source material. So basically, try to read. Even though it was simple English, it was really difficult for me as a 6 or 7-year-old to comprehend. And obviously my 6-year-old brain cannot comprehend that Disney changed the freaking ending. Going through teenage years, it was Harry Potter, and this sounds sacrilegious. I read them in an unorderly manner. Yeah, because at the time, trying to not be like other girls, I don't understand the hype about the franchise. And try to give it a read, like the writing, and and ended up enjoying my time reading it. Sophie Kinsella's chic-lit, but not her shopaholic series, because somehow it can read as a standalone, which is, I guess, that's my villain origin story at this point. I am thankful, and yes, I am judging my vampire era days on middle grade story on the Saga of Darren Shan. That was really good. Me and my friend ate that up when we were in secondary school. And apart from Darren Shan, it was the start of the dystopian era, Hunger Games. Yep, good one. But here's the thing, and once again, this totally shows my consistency in sticking to standalone, or being a one-night stand whore kind of girl towards reading, is because once I read one dystopian series, which was the Hunger Games, I didn't bother pick it up. Divergent or Maze Runner. Uni days till adulthood was fortunately or unfortunately, was the Throne of Glass series from Sarah J. Maas. I'll be honest, the premise at the starting was actually cool AF because I was still on a shoujo high from reading or stumbling upon heroine protagonist that was hired to be an assassin and try to kill some kind of royalty. So Throne of Glass series had that kind of ish at start, but then she killed off my favorite character in a problematic way. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Okay. Honestly, at this point of time, I noticed some of my favorite booktubers, apart from the speed of them reading, because I am such a slow reader, I want to understand, to the ones who manage to read through a series or a book that doesn't really suit their taste, or it's just give them a bad aftertaste. How did you manage to finish the book? Because that's some mental fortitude and I salute you. Oh, other than that, I would love to get to know if there are some of your favorite books that they would love to see it. Apart from we all know that the book is better than the movies, and this quote, I totally uphold that one. I would like to ask them if among their favorite book series, which one that they would love to see them animated in anime maybe, or get some kind of manga is kind of art, because I've seen some of those fan art and fan comics and they are lit. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Editing. I am also a former auditor whose major is accounting, so I suck. Other than that, consistency. Let's hope I build a routine to upload as frequently as I can, read more books and upload more bookish contents. Try not to get cancelled. Enough said. Number 8. When do you start reading? Ever since I learned how to read both Malay and English. I started around age 6 when I finally learned how to read. Yes, like I learned speaking both Malay and English. Well, Malay is my mother tongue, so obviously I learned it since I was a baby. English, I picked it up actually earlier before I start learning how to read them. So I learned how to speak it before learning how to read it. Where do you read? On the sofa, in the living room. I rarely read outside. Very rarely I read on the train. Maybe I read webtoon or manga on the train. But now quarantine, so work from home and I don't read English. Ooh, the last question. Yay. What kind of books do you like to read? Okay. The one that doesn't need lengthy commitment. Completed series is also fine, so I don't have to wait in agony and for the series to finish, or also the waiting time to diminish my anticipation for the reads. In terms of story or characters, I tend to gravitate on girl power is kind of story, female or heroine, protagonist, kind of thing. I hope I find more books that have very minimal romance. Romance can be used as a subplot, and sometimes I can become a shipper. Yep. But if it's romance centered, then I'm gone. For me to like romance, it has to have comedy. So I'm more into a com-rom. Yes, not rom-com, com-rom, where I believe Sophie Kinsella always fits the bill on her rom-com table. Basically, don't put too much of the things I dislike. Like for instance, love triangle or whatever love you're freaking in. If you can resolve it in a timely manner that doesn't consume my damn time and hurt my freaking mind and eyes reading them, then alright. I'm willing to, let it go, because some people face that drama, I guess. And yes, while I read fantasy, I read for escapism. I also need relatability, because it's not realistic having two guys pining for one girl. Unless it's my cats. Oh, and we're done. Thank you for staying this far. Hope to see you soon. Bye.